Really think long term, because the more short term you think, the more short term actions you will take, which will end up actually hurting you in the long run. Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Miguel here from CFS Recovery. This video I want to talk about why it's impossible to recover with short-term thinking. Now, the ability to have big picture thinking and continuing to do the day-to-day actions that move you closer to a full recovery and be in the recovery mindset is something that's a lot easier said than done. And you probably hear it all the time that you need to think long-term, not short-term, and you need to take small steps towards your full recovery. And a lot of times, short-term thinking, it's almost like the natural thinking to do. It's the automatic way we want to think. The only thing is, at the end of the day, short-term thinking will lead you to take actions that cause you to overdo it most of the time. When you're thinking short-term, you're not thinking about the consequences a lot of the time. You're thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. When you go out with your friends, when you go on a hike with your family, when you're placed in situations where there's a decision to make, either you do it and you know you're going to pay for it in the future, or you don't do it knowing that your body's recovering. But a lot of times we get so sucked into that, we think that this opportunity is never going to come by again, or we really want to go enjoy ourselves because we've been stuck in a house for so long or been holding back for so long. So this is the time to let loose. And that kind of short-term thinking is going to get your body in some trouble. I tell people this all the time, people who are messaging me here on YouTube or commenting or messaging me personally on Instagram. Recovery is actually very simple. You need to do some very simple things, and it's a very simple, let's say, set of actions you need to take on your journey to recovery. So while that's a simple part, the complex part is the emotions that you need to overcome during that recovery. So the actual physical actions, it's fairly simple. I mean, you know what to do. You know you shouldn't push your body. You know that if you let your body rest, it will recover. But the real battle is up in here. It's the psychological aspect. It's the emotional roller coaster that you go through every single day, every single hour of decision making, of battling your demons, battling the thoughts that are making you want to just jump out there into the world, when a part of you knows that you probably shouldn't be doing that. But then there's the other side of you that wants to push you back out there so that you could be normal again. So that's the complex part. The actual day-to-day stuff that you need to do is simple. The complex part is the emotional roller coaster. Now, when you think more long-term, that will lead you to making completely different decisions than if you're thinking short-term. So just think of all the great things you've done in your life. Think about a time where you wanted to get good grades or get an A on a project, or maybe in sports, you wanted to be the team captain or win a game. Let's say you worked hard all season to try to win a championship or come first in your region or whatever it is. You know you had to practice day in and day out every single week, and that you couldn't just leave everything to the last minute and jam pack all that practice into the last week and expect to win a championship. Just like school. Maybe you wanted an A on a project, and for the most part, if you want to get A's in school, it's going to take a whole semester of work. You can't just do nothing the whole semester and then all of a sudden work your butt off for the last 2 weeks and expect to get an A, because you would have failed the quizzes, would have failed the tests, the exams, and you can't just come out last second and try to play catch up. So instinctively, you understand that great things take time. And just like with school, just like with sports, just like with a job, just like getting to a great position that you've been in before, you know that it takes a lot of work and it's not easy. And it wasn't a short-term process, it was a long-term process. So it's very crucial, especially if you're at a place in your recovery where you're on a slippery slope and you're feeling stuck and you're finding it very hard to get traction in your recovery. That is a time where you want to build strong foundation, build good habits, and really think long-term, because the more short-term you think, the more short-term actions you will take, which will end up actually hurting you in the long run. And this idea of short-term thinking also ties into my other video up here, where I talk about why mindset is so important. And I would highly recommend you go watch that. So if you do want to think short-term, think about the day-to-day actions that you need to do to put yourself in a position to win and recover and heal. But long-term thinking, you need to have that vision in mind of the ideal life you want to have down the road. And the more you focus on that, the more you will be inclined to understand that you need to make sacrifices. There will be times where you want to go out with your friends or go to the movies or go camping with your family, and you're gonna have to say no, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt. And I've had to do that hundreds of times. Literally, from the age of 19 to about 24 years old, I had to say no to so many things. And when I was in a really bad place, you know, from about 19 to 22, I couldn't even go to the beach with my friends. Keep in mind, I was a personal trainer. And the times that I did push myself and go out with my friends, my body paid for it. And while it was fun, while it was great, enjoying myself and all that stuff, I also had to keep in mind that there were so many things that I actually couldn't do when I was with them. So I wasn't even getting the full experience anyways. And on top of that, I would end up taking 4 or 5 steps back. I've had to do it so many times where I've said no to these great opportunities. But over the years, as I've recovered, I've had 10 times more opportunities come my way to do some amazing things. So, you know, at the end of the day, the goal is to get your life back so that you can live just a regular life without pain, without suffering, without any kind of chronic fatigue. And there is no such thing as a perfect life where you won't have any problems at all. Obviously, things come up in life, but there have been so many instances and cases where people have gone from being absolutely bedridden, couldn't do anything, to actually living an amazing life. And if I can do it, if other people can do it, then you can too. But it all starts up here, thinking long term and not short term. So I hope that helps, hope that provides some clarity on some recovery and mindset, things like that. I didn't go into too much detail. I don't really have a whiteboard here, but I want to, you know, break this down on a whiteboard at some point and go into detail, the short-term versus long-term thinking. But comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. If you have any other questions, I love answering it for you guys. And the biggest thing is applying this stuff. Short-term thinking is watching all these videos, expecting it to work some magic. Long-term thinking is watching these videos and actually applying it, testing them out. Test them out for weeks at a time. You know, it's not gonna happen in 1 or 2 or 3, 4, maybe even 5 days. Practice these things that you're learning for at least a week and take what works, throw away what doesn't work. Make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you enjoyed this content, then you'll definitely enjoy one of these videos up here. Go watch them now and take bits and pieces from all these videos and other videos you're watching, because I know there's lots of channels out there, and start coming up with your own ideas and use these videos, use this knowledge and these resources online to help you on your recovery. So I hope that helps. I'll see you guys in the next video.